What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Internet sucks today. So if this recording is blurry or I don't know, the audio sucks. Sorry. I might have to find a way to plug this in and stop running it off of Wi-Fi. I'm going to contact somebody about that. That being said, what's happening? It's been a long time since I've talked to you guys, but recently I recorded an episode with Steve and Sean from the Body-Worn Camera Library. We'll get into a little bit about the Body-Worn Camera Library in a few minutes. First, before that, let's go to pointmanpodcast.com. If it wants to work. Here we go. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about pointmanpodcast.com, one of my websites. Let's go to the main page right here. Look at that new logo. It looks sick, huh? Interview with Brian McPherson. We have some t-shirts and hoodies. We also have some stickers up there for sale. Go ahead and support the show, please, and support the podcast. Whatever keeps this running helps out a lot. Right below that, we have a GoFundMe for Connor Tian and his family. Connor is a police officer in the Northeast who was hurt in the line of duty when responding to a call. He was struck by a drunk driver and needed back surgery to hopefully come back to work relatively soon. He's been out of work for a while. We started this podcast, or we started this GoFundMe to help Connor with some relief for the overtime and all of the things that he is missing being out of work. So go to the GoFundMe right there. It will be closing shortly and help support our affiliates, Pointman Defensive Solutions, FRCC, First Responders Coffee Company, First Responders Cask Company, and First Responders Cigar Company, and Counterculture Inc. Go here, click on the links, and show some love to our network and our sponsors. You can go to the gear and merch. We have stickers. Let's look at some of these stickers we have over here. The Pointman Podcast sticker, Surf the Chaos in a mug. The Surf the Chaos sticker, I think, is pretty freaking sick. So you guys should go and get that. We also have some tank tops for sale, and some t-shirts. We also have hoods. We also have hoodies and long sleeve t-shirts as well. Go ahead and definitely support the show by buying some of this gear and wearing it around and showing off the podcast. Secondly, we have, as I was saying before, bring back to me real quick, and I'm going to bring you guys over to the Body-Worn Camera Library. Now, I'm a use of force instructor, and I've spent hours online trying to find a video that fits a presentation that I'm doing, whether it's some sort of use of force like a taser or a less lethal shotgun, an officer involved shooting, some sort of grappling or struggling match between an officer and suspects. You won't spend hours anymore wasting your life away on YouTube trying to find that video because this exists. Because podcasts essentially live for the entirety of the internet, I don't know how much it is going to be when you are looking up the Body-Worn Camera and trying to subscribe. But right now, in July of 2025, it's less than $5 a month. I'm going to give it an exact date, July 21st, 2025, because I don't know if it's going to change soon. But in case it does, go ahead now and subscribe. If you're that use of force instructor, like I was saying, let's go and click on taser over here. For sake of argument, if you're talking about tasers for today, you want to click if the suspect was armed, what the distance was, whether you had full NMI, partial NMI, or none whatsoever, because the taser fails more than it actually works. Go ahead and click on those drop-down menus for an officer-involved shooting. Whether it was low light, as you saw there. Let's click on low light and see what happens once my internet actually wants to cooperate today. Well, you have... Oh, no. Sorry if that jumped on you guys, but I've been having a little bit of trouble with this. Whether you had a low light, whether a light was used, if it wasn't used, other light source, or handheld weapon light, transition, whether it was the suspect was armed, the officer was shot, all of these sorts of things. It makes your life so much easier. Let's go click on force and see where it brings us to over on that side. whether it was an officer strike, a suspect strike, grappling, if there was a weapon involved, how many officers, was there a SWAT? Was it a SWAT call? Was it a taser? Was the taser used? Was there a lawsuit that was initiated after the use of force? There are a variety of videos and expert breakdowns from different people throughout the country that break down videos, break down the force used, whether if it was or if it wasn't. And man, this website is a great addition to any use of force instructor putting on a presentation because it saves hours off the research for you. So, with that being said, go to the bodyworncamera-library.com, sign up. Right now, it's less than $5 a month, and see what it has to offer. I apologize for the internet right now. I don't know how it's working. I don't know if I'm all blurry or whatnot, but go to pointmanpodcast.com, buy some gear so I can upgrade the internet and this computer. With that, here's the show.
In Dexter, they have explosives, some type of grenades. They're in between the houses down here.
Awesome. It says we're going right now. So, yeah, guys, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know, like I was telling Steve earlier, Sean, I don't know if you were a part of the video yet, but it's can be kind of a hassle getting on the East Coast, getting with guys on the West Coast and timing and all that sort of stuff. And like I was saying, I've been in the studio, quote unquote, in the StreamYard studio, and like missed it. I was 3 hours early to the other person was 3 hours late. Not technically, but we missed each other by a few hours. Like, hey, where are you? Well, I was already in bed because I thought we were doing it 3 hours earlier. So
yeah, going off time zones and all that.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
It's crazy that you can actually do this, right? Like you being on the East Coast, us on the West Coast, and it works out. Like
it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome. It's, you get to talk to different people. I know you guys were on Marlon's podcast a little bit ago, and I had him on mine. And, it's one of those things where you wouldn't have had the ability, a bunch of years ago to not be on or to meet people and be on interviews and podcasts. And now this is fantastic. I love it. How many other podcasts have you guys done?
That's it. Yeah, just Marlon's right now. So hey, you're second, man.
All right.
So we're honored, man. Like
well, I got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like I bet like when you were first getting started, you probably like, never imagined you would have started a podcast, right?
No.
And kind of in the same lens, like I never thought I'd ever go on a podcast, right? Like I listen to podcasts, you listen to your normal ones like Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan show, whatever, on whatever topics. And then all of a sudden, like somebody asks you to be on a podcast and you're like, what? So yeah.
Yeah. No, Marlon's a good guy. He was lucky, or I was lucky enough to have him on mine. And I've watched a few of his, just picking his brain about, IA and all that sort of stuff. And, yeah, definitely. He's a good person to know. And like you were saying, the first time I was on a podcast was with a guy named Steve Gould back in like 2018, I think it was. And it's called Things Police See. And I was a listener that like kind of emailed them. I'm like, hey, dude, if I can get on the podcast, that'd be great. And, he had me on. And it was during COVID when I first started the podcast. And it no one ever tells you that it's like a full-time job, even though it's a hobby, and the amount of work that you have to put into it and the amount of hours and dedication that, you spend editing a video and audio and uploading it, making sure everything's connected. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought this was going to be easy. And it's like it can be like a part-time job for no pay. So
absolutely. Right. Like you don't get into doing this for the money. Right. Like,
yeah.
But what you do get into it for is the conversations that you're going to have with people that honestly, otherwise you probably wouldn't be able to. And it's information that people want to know about, people want to hear. Like when we jumped on Marlon's, right? Like he initially, told us what his deal was, and we're like, all right, this is I'm like thinking about like, okay, all the stuff that I've done, right? Like in my life and at work. And I'm like, this is kind of fishy here. I'm like, well, whatever, let's do it. And yeah. He's got a super sweet setup. It's crazy.
Oh, I bet. I bet it's like kind of like undercover boss, but undercover IA. Like, I don't even know if I should go on this podcast because that could be a catch-22 right there, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, all right, how many people honestly are gonna view this? And I'm like, after a couple of days, it was up to like close to 1,000. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, people have seen it. I'm like, all right, well, cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, there's no hiding it now. You guys worked together. You're telling me, Steve, for about what 10 years before prior to your career movement.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started together as police cadets fresh out of high school. So we had our little duty belts on and we were washing police cars. And eventually, yeah, we both went to the academy and started working patrol together. Right in our heyday, we were making all kinds of arrests. I mean, I think at one point they had the stats up and we were competing for, top arrests for the shift. And we were, I want to say, up in the 40s for a period of like 3 or 4 months per deployment. So that was our heyday. We worked together, got into all kinds of fun stuff, and then yeah, slowly started picking up collaterals. Both kind of range guys, love shooting, force stuff too. I got really into Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but Sean also went through a basic course. So yeah, everything kind of just led from there.
Awesome. So you guys actually knew each other prior to being police officers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
known
yeah, we
each
went
other
to
for a long, long time.
yeah, we're in the same like single A baseball team, little league. So
Like you're talking like 5, 6 years old.
Oh
oh
no,
yeah.
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
shit. How is that when you're like you said 5, 6 years old and now you're clearing houses, making arrests together? That's gotta be pretty cool.
Well, the double A Yankees, we took the championship, so we just set that winning mindset.
Yeah, well, I can't say I support the Yankees at all because I'm from Boston, so fuck the Yankees. But
Well, there you go.
I get it even when it's little league. All right, that's something completely different.
Yeah.
But so you guys worked together for about 10 years in the same academy class, and then just hit the streets together.
Di-
Do you have any?
different academy classes, but pretty
Okay,
close to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sean was
nice.
about a year. He was about a year ahead of me in the whole process. But both of
Okay.
us started almost. I mean, as soon as we could, we were all for it. So I think,
What,
yeah, as soon as we were 21, we were both 10-8. So
nice. Is that out of California?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
California, Los Angeles County. So, kind of right in the thick of it. We both worked for a municipal agency,
Hmm.
so a city police department, so not LAPD, sheriff's department, like that. So, you get exposure to a lot of that LA type stuff.
Hmm.
What I like to say is like I think it's like anywhere else, right? You have like your major hubs, like you said, you're from Boston area, right? You have like
Yeah.
Boston, your major city, where obviously you have a large criminal element or population, whatever. But they probably go to the outskirts of Boston, right? Those smaller
Yeah.
cities. So that's where a lot of the stuff came from is the LA area. And then we're not too far from San Bernardino, from Long Beach, so kind of right in the hub there of those major cities.
Now, what's the
So
hiring process for you guys like? Because I know, so I worked 15 years out in the state of New Hampshire, which I started off in southern New Hampshire and then moved up north and was up to near the Canadian border. And then recently, this beginning of this year, I transferred down to Massachusetts. And if you look at the state of Mass, it's on there's like the elbow. It's called the Cape.
yeah.
It's not the elbow, but it's like a little it's like the fucking pinky figure of Massachusetts. But so if you look at it, I'm basically at the end, but it's in New Hampshire, you apply to that agency that you want to work for, right? So you go fill out their
Mhm.
application, maybe 3, 4, 5 months. I think I applied in December of 2009 and I swore in April 5th of 2010. So I had
Mhm.
roughly a 5 month turnaround. What's it out there? What's it out like in California?
So kind of the same thing, right? Like you kind of have two paths.
Hmm.
So just like you said, you apply directly with the agency. You pass through their entire process. You get picked up by them. They sponsor you or send you to a police academy, right? Like
Gotcha.
where we work, most agencies don't have their own police academy. You're either going to from a city police department. You're probably going to one of the sheriff's department
Gotcha.
academies, or you can self-sponsor, which is like I know a lot of people like in 2008, 2009 during the economic crisis when jobs just weren't open because people had to cut. A lot of those people during that time had to self-sponsor, right?
Right.
And so trying to give themselves an edge, basically coming to police departments going, hey, look, like obviously it costs a lot of money to hire a police officer, right? You have to go through background processes, and there's a lot of people involved with it. You got to send them to the academy. You're having to pay for that, but you get like a little bit of a competitive edge. But both of us got picked up by our agency.
So is that the
Um,
same? Is that the same for you guys out there, where if you get hired by the agency, then they'll sponsor you through the police academy, and you get paid during that process, or while
So
you're in the academy?
yeah, so New Hampshire, you have to get hired by an agency and then go to the academy. They have like a year long like grace period where somebody can actually like work alongside with their FTO
Hmm.
and maybe do a little bit of the FTO before they go to the academy, because they only,
Mm.
I think they run 6 academies a year now, maybe
Hmm.
in the
are you
state.
going through like a state police academy?
Yeah, so everybody
Oh,
goes to
okay.
the same one. So
Oh
state
wow.
troopers, college cops, regular town or municipal city cops, they all go to the same one. In Massachusetts, granted my knowledge, because I didn't go to the Academy of Mass, I got the waiver and took the law package exam. They can kind of do the same thing that you guys do, right? So they, from my like knowledge and experience, they can either get sponsored by an agency where they're not getting necessarily paid to go, but they like, if I was to go and get sponsored, right? So I would pay to go to the academy. They wouldn't pay me at all, but at least the agency would sponsor me to go, right? And I'd,
Hmm.
come out. I'd have to be looking for a job like upon graduation, or you
Hmm.
can. There's a few different ways. So
So
you
would you have
can,
to pay if you go without being sponsored? You would have to pay to the academy.
right? Yep, you'd have to pay like
Mm.
basically an entrance to go
Mm.
that entire time. And I
Mhm.
think up until maybe recently, and I could be wrong when I say this, but there was a point in time where the Mass State Police was getting paid minimum wage while they were at the academy,
Wow.
Mm,
and yeah, and so
rough.
um, yeah, exactly, right. So like they get a huge pay increase as soon as they graduate the academy, but um, that's that's like kind of the limit of my knowledge when it comes to the how the academies run down here, but the like I said, like if you get sponsored by an agency, you get hired and you get sponsored and they put you through the academy, you're going to get paid, at least my agency, your normal rate while you're there. You know what I mean?
You
Mm.
get a livable wage at least,
Yeah,
because like some people,
exactly.
like you're making minimum wage and all of a sudden you're like, but I still have bills to pay, right? And you
Yeah,
got like people doing like serving jobs and stuff at night, like trying to
yeah,
just make it work, right?
yeah, exactly. And
That's
so,
crazy.
yeah, state police, you live there for the 6 months you're there. The other academies, I think it's an option now. After COVID, you can either live there, depending on how far you are, or you can commute if you want to, if you're close enough. But I know state troopers here that while they're at the academy that had to take out personal loans to cover bills and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so
Wow.
it's ridiculous,
Now,
Uh,
now, have you
the
guys seen there's a new application or process where yeah, I've seen it floating around on Instagram where you basically upload your statistics for, hey, here's my mile time, here's what I'm shooting at the range, and it's kind of like a LinkedIn for officers that want to get hired. And it's an ex-cop who created this basically software platform where these potential recruits are entering this info and then getting recruited. It's like a kind of like a competition almost.
It's like a combine for cops.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that at all. Do you know what it's called or anything?
I think it's
You
just
know
called
what?
like Police Jobs app or something like that. I
Yeah,
know.
I want to
I
say
think Marlon brought that guy on his show.
I said,
I
well, I
want to
know
say
police
off the
app,
top of
but
my Nick Off Duty maybe is his name, or I could be wrong. Is the one that's doing
that,
that's kind of running it.
I mean, that's I guess that's not a bad thing, right? You know, is it if it's for guys or people that have graduated the academy, they already have their certificate, they're looking for a job. I
Hmm.
don't think I can't really, see anything wrong with that. If it's for people that are constantly jumping ship from go to one agency to another, then there might be an issue. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't
And
think that
have
seems pretty interesting.
have you noticed a shift? Because from my understanding, now it's almost like the agencies are looking to hire people and having to recruit, where in the past there was a huge line just to get in.
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous now. When I was doing helping with the hiring up in New Hampshire, you get a handful of applicants at a time, right? Where when I took
Mm,
the test, I think there was probably 250 people there for 2 jobs back in
Yeah.
'09 when I took my exam. And so and it's bad out here. There's nobody that wants to be a cop, and it's been a hiring crisis out here as well.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
same thing no matter where you go, right? Like I remember that, like having 150, 200 applicants for 2 jobs. And it was myself and somebody else that went to the academy.
Yeah.
Now, like honestly, I mean I hate to say it, but the hiring standards are a lot lower, right? Like,
Yeah.
we'll be lucky to get, 30, 40 people applying for. I mean, we could have 6, 7 open positions. That's pretty good odds, right? And then once
Yeah.
you start like like weathering away people that just DQ the app through HR and then go through your PAT, your physical agility. Don't do that. Interview. I mean, if you get through all 3 of those, you're pretty much almost guaranteed a job if you got a
Yeah.
clean background.
Yeah, you
Like
get the 40 applicants, 35 show up. At the end of it, 20 are there, and then you start like, all right, well,
yeah,
out of that 20, 12 have criminal records, and well,
mhm,
nowadays it depends on what the criminal record's for, right? You know what I
uh-huh.
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
here's the
you
next
guys,
problem is that once you get to field training officer, it seems like the attrition rate is a lot higher. I don't know how it is for you guys, but the 25%, 1 in 4 of the trainees that even go through the academy aren't passing patrol.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some that need to go back on FTO, and then, I mean, I had a few. I only had 2 wash out. One, his best friend died in the line of duty while he was on FTO,
Oh,
and yeah, and it was something he at the time he didn't really realize that could happen, and hey, better find out while you're on FTO than
mm,
actually have to
Yeah.
go to a something and realize that this could happen, right? And so I say he washed out, but he voluntarily quit. And then another that basically had a conversation with him, and he just said, hey, at this time the job's not for him. And I said, hey, you know what,
mm,
give it 5 years. If you want to come back and apply, if you just keep your nose clean, you could get rehired. But um yeah, it's the same sort of thing. And then just so I'm 38, and I was asking my lieutenant the other day, and I said, man, is it me? Am I the guy now that is looking at this younger generation and thinking like, this is how you talk, this is how you refer to yourself? Like, what the what the fuck is
But
wrong?
but but
you
the but
know?
the but the thing is, right? Like, think about like the generation before you, right? I guarantee
Say
they
the
said
same exact thing.
the same exact thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
so I think about that. I'm like, all right, how was I when I was like 6 months on as a cop, like doing dumb
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right? And then now, like being in the spot I am, looking at it, I'm like kind of shaking my head, and I'm like, hold on, like I gotta give a little bit of grace here because I was there too.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. So you guys, obviously, one of the reasons why I found you guys, you started the Body Worn Camera Network or Library, excuse me, Body Worn Camera Library, and I say it was my idea. It wasn't, but I'm just pissed that somebody else came up with the idea before me because, I'm here putting on these use of force trainings and clicking through YouTube for hours on end, trying to figure out number one, how do I download a video that I like, and then spending hours trying to find that actual video that I do like. And so, how'd the idea come about? Talk to me about the process, the business aspect of it. I'm more fascinated. Like, nowadays, I don't know if it is being older, but I run the podcast here, quote unquote, the podcast studio in the basement of my house. But it's in the actual software and the shit behind it. And it's just amazing me trying to run my own website, how you guys can do that. So talk to me a little bit about why you got it started, where it is now, and where you hope to go.
Yeah. So
yes.
first off, I mean, you want to hit off with the
Yeah,
name?
I'll
Simple.
Yeah, I'll start with the library. I mean, that was kind of the image of it, or the idea is that we're going to treat basically each video as if it was a book. So, if you go to the library, you can sort by fiction or nonfiction, and everything's organized in a way that you can basically go and find a specific book. And in the same way, like I think there's a saying on the website that rang a bell for us, is that like if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then how many words is a video, worth? So
Hmm.
we kind of treat each critical incident as if it's like a huge learning point or something we can learn from, because it did happen in real life, and that it's destined to happen again. And Gordon Graham talks about that as well. There's really not much stuff that's new in law enforcement. We pretty much know what the bad guys are going to do, what
Right.
weapons they're going to use. And so it's like the gray rhino is right in front of us. We see it coming, right? There's no black swans where it's like, what's this laser gun that someone got killed by? We need to train everyone. So the concept is that the website is organized and categorized by basically categories that are of value to an officer. So like a shooting from 0 to 5 feet with somebody with a knife, you can find that specifically.
Hmm.
Or a taser that didn't work, versus somebody with a gun. Or hey, don't go to a call by yourself. So now we can categorize, you can go to the category of an officer versus a suspect. He didn't wait for his backup officer, so 1 versus 1. So this all kind of like, the first idea came is when we were trying to look for videos to show in force training for a trap and roll when somebody was on their back. The worst case scenario, you're on your back, suspects on top of you, how do we get out?
Right.
And it was so hard. You have to use YouTube, you have to search and try and find that video between advertisements and newscasters. We're like, this is just
Oh
not
yeah.
how it should, this is not how it should be. You find the video you want, but then you got to log into your own personal YouTube account. Now your recommended videos are coming up. So we're like, we could do better than this. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
how it all started.
So, side note, right? If anybody's still going to an actual library, like fix yourself, right? Like the library is just for the name. Like get yourself like an Amazon Kindle, dude, or like an audiobook. But
Yeah.
but
Seriously.
nonetheless, it kind of gets the point across. But like Stephen was saying, right? Like this was born out of utility, like things that we wish we had as force instructors or on the range too. Like the pain points we specifically felt were like, if we have these pain points, we're absolutely sure there are other people that have these same exact pain points.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you guys do like your briefings or what your guys' briefings are encompassing, right? But like our expectation, at least where we work, um, is that there's going to be some sort of training a lot of times provided as well. Like you do your normal roll call, right? Give out the assignments for the beats and things like that. But also like you have some time, short amount of time, right? Whether it's 15, 20 minutes, but to
Yeah.
provide some sort of training for your shift. And a lot of people will pull up body cam and pull up critical incidents. You'll try and debrief it. But then like Steven said, you're pulling up YouTube, you have to sign in, and now like, hey, hopefully you were pretty good on what you've been searching on YouTube for, because like your recommended bar is right there for
Oh
your
yeah.
sergeant, for your lieutenant to see, and every other cop. So
Yeah.
it makes for a good laugh usually,
Yeah. Yeah.
but avoiding that.
No,
So
it's great because like I was saying, you can go in there and both you and Steve and Sean were saying, you can go in there and you can I mean, how often does a taser fail, right? It fails
mhm,
more often than it
Mhm.
actually works. And so you
yeah,
want to, you can pull up certain videos, whether you do have full NMI or you do have, partial
Mhm.
contact or no contact or whatever it is from any distance in them. And I just found it. I think I've been subscribing since February or March, right around there. And it's great because the times that I've used it, it's been like I find the video that I'm looking for within a few minutes, whether it's a taser, a
Mhm.
shooting, or something that led into a lawsuit or whatever it is. It's great for being a use of force instructor myself for any, and it's relevant to any state that you're working in, right? So, like my experience in New Hampshire, while it's relevant, is different laws and capacities in New Hampshire than there are in Mass, and so it works cross jurisdictional. It's just a good library of sorts. My wife still does go to libraries. I haven't been to one since I've been with her since I was about 6 years old. But it's a good library of sorts of just the things that you're looking for, right? So if you, like I said, you're looking for that medical or that shooting or whatever it is, I highly recommend it because it's easy and
Mhm.
it's easy for me to use. And I'm the dumbest person here. So if I can use it, anybody can use it.
and that's our take to it as well, right? Like we're not going to create a website that the general person can't figure out intuitively, right?
Right.
Like as a user, because I'm the same way, right? Like I'm not like the back end like coder for the
Oh,
website, right?
fuck
Like
that. That's a pain in
no,
the ass.
yeah, absolutely not, right? Like I'll dabble a little bit, but like if I can't go on the website and I can't figure it out just from getting on it, it's not for me. So
Yeah.
that's the whole point too, is you got to make it user friendly. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're dealing with cops. We're not dealing with rocket scientists here, right? But hey, cops are smart, right? Where I say when it comes to life experience, like you'll find nobody else in the world that has as much life experience and has dealt with more in their life. But just making it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
I
like
mean,
big picture too, like body worn cameras are still relatively new if you kind of
mhm,
expand the perspective, and it doesn't seem like we really know what to do with the videos. The videos come out and they're kind of on Instagram, on social media, on YouTube, and just maybe random people are posting them. As far as stats go, nothing's necessarily being collected, but our goal is to like try and have officers learn lessons off of the video. So, for example, if the taser, if you can see trends. So, if we find a bunch of taser videos where there was a partial reaction or no reaction, then you can learn, okay, maybe if someone's wearing a rain jacket, the taser is not going to work. And obviously, you still need to go to training. You can't just watch videos all
right.
day, but also the videos do show real life incidents that happen. It doesn't get more realistic. And I think there was when I first started writing reports, you would write based on my training and experience and conversations with other officers, right? Because that was the generation before us. You will learn by hearing stories from older officers. Hey, that guy he's wearing a rain jacket, so the taser didn't work. So don't do it. And that's what I got to put in my police report. But now with video cameras, it's kind of like that's almost replacing those conversations. You can learn from that video.
Yeah. I've never heard that. I've always heard based on my training experience. That's what I've always put, and I get into a little bit more detail if I had to, but I've never heard of anybody putting down, the conversations with other officers. Is that something that you picked up, or is that something
I
that was
think
ingrained as like FTO or what?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, like you'll see, like especially like so. What's funny to me is like you have a new officer that has just got off field training, right? Maybe
Hmm.
exposed to some stuff, makes their first proactive arrest, right? Arrest somebody for some sort of dope, right? And says, based on my training experience, I knew this was blah blah blah. And it's like, well, when you end up you end up going to court on it, right? And if they actually start grilling you on your training experience, well, okay, officer, how many actual drug arrests have you had?
Hmm.
I've had one other arrest. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, whoa. So those conversations, like if you have station narcotics detectives, right,
Hmm.
and they're like instructing you and teaching you, right? I think we look at training experience kind of in holistically, especially with body worn camera and stuff like that. And we'll go into it. Like we have a way to actually log what videos you're watching because we know it's important to track that type of training,
Yeah.
whether it's for liability purposes, right, or for an administration that's looking at trying to actually put hard numbers to this, or right, you want to actually quantify how much you're actually watching and what you're watching, because it may prove valuable to you at some point, whether that's court or what. How do you know this wasn't going to be effective? Why did you not go to your taser and instead went to this other tool during the incident? Well, I've watched 20 videos of similar type of circumstances where this was not effective,
Hmm.
right? So this led into my decision making, and now you have something that you can trace back to.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like you said, having that history and that reference of, okay, this is what I watched, and having that, like, putting it back to like that, like you said, the experience in that training and watching those videos of, hey, I know that this may fail because I've even seen it on videos fail more than it's worked. And
Mhm.
I think it's a great idea. And damn, I'm just mad at myself for not coming up with this before before you guys did. And it's and it's great. I'm happy that you guys are you're doing it. How's the business aspect of it going for you two? Is it a more of a pain in the ass than you thought it was going to be, or is that simple?
Well, building the website is pretty is pretty intensive, right? That's kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
the upfront of it. You got to invest quite a bit into getting all the infrastructure. But once it's up, it's cruising. I mean, we are still under kind of the mindset that we're constantly pivoting. We're always looking for ways to make the website better
Yeah.
and looking for the next thing to improve value for the officers. So I mean, I think we're on like the what we call the fourth edition of the website. So we're constantly adding more, and Sean can talk about it uh, a little bit in a little bit, but we're looking at integrating like AI in a way, and yeah, some other things that I don't want to release too soon. But
Have you
so those
guys
types of things. I
have
mean, we've only been public since November, so it's pretty new. The customers, you know, it's starting to grow, but it's definitely I'm still working.
I get it. Have you guys like with regards to your jobs at all? Do you guys have you integrated AI into your jobs or your report writing or your body cameras themselves?
So it's interesting you brought that up. Just on Friday, 2 days ago, went to, and I believe it's the first in the nation actual class on um, AI use for report writing in law enforcement, like post certified, state certified class on it. So this is definitely something that's coming into law enforcement. Specifically at my agency, no, we haven't. But there are agencies out there that are using that, and there are a variety of products, right, from your big four-letter companies, Axon, to some smaller ones that are local here in
Hmm.
the LA area, that are doing great work. Right, like it's crazy the technology that's out there and what can be used.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely. I mean, obviously, I can the point of it, right? It's time savings,
Yeah.
right? If you can keep your cops out of your station or behind a building writing reports, and you can get them on the streets faster, right? You're going to be more effective, ideally, right? I don't know how proactivity and things like that are for your agency or where you guys are around, but that's obviously what we get paid as cops to do, is to be proactive and find bad guys. So
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be seen around the station on day shift is basically
yeah,
the statement.
mhm. There's a lot of people walking around. There's a lot of eyes on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate it. I'm on day shift now.
What
It's not
did
that
we
I
used
hate.
to say? What are you doing? You mopping the floors at the station? You've been there for a while.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's I think there's a guy on the Counterculture Network, Justin. That's the network that the podcast is a part of, and his agency started incorporating AI into the reviewing of body cameras. And
Okay.
so
Mm.
it would basically send if one of the keywords was said on a body camera video, then it would send a flag to the supervisor to have it reviewed.
Are we
You know
are
what
we
I
talking like cuss words and all that?
Yeah, any word that
Uh,
you can think
They
that may
can,
be
yeah.
controversial.
Admin can set it, right? Admin has the control to set certain like parameters. So
so
sometimes like maybe they'll let it slip. Like, all right, only if we get over three F bombs,
Yeah.
then you send an email to me and it queues up,
Yeah,
so
Scary.
I'll go on a short rant on
go
this,
right
right?
ahead.
In my opinion,
We
right?
have the time, so go ahead.
Yeah. So there is a time and a place, right? If
Yeah.
you're going to like a normal report call, whatever, right? Shouldn't be doing that. But right, when you're in a critical incident or you're in a high stress situation, right?
Yeah.
I think we all know that uh, you talk to a suspect in one way. They may not understand that, right? Hey, let me see your hands, right? But then you change your verbiage and you add some colorful language or street language, right? Common terms that they understand and they communicate with every day, right? And then you tend to get the response that you want,
Yeah.
or you desire. So that's just a little side rant. Is that I get it, right? Like we're expected to be professional too, but you also have to take into consideration like this is a very high stress job, right? With very high stakes, and people don't want to go to jail,
Yeah.
right?
You
People will do
you
whatever they can to not go to jail.
whatever I told my trainees is basically you engage with them in conversation at their understanding or their
Mhm.
level, for lack of better terms. And so it's if that's the if that's their level of not education, but just their level of understanding, if that's their
Mhm.
daily language, then engage with them in that. There's no reason why you want to talk to the 83-year-old grandmother that way, unless there is, and be articulate as to why there may be. But if it's a 17 or 18, early 20-year-old gangbanger that talks to you like that, he may respect you a little bit more if you talk to him back that way. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's
yeah.
wild. But going on, like, obviously, like, how quickly law enforcement is changing. And I
Right.
say quickly, right? Because for law enforcement, it's quick. But in the grand scheme of things, right, in like private business, right, how long has AI or these types of tools, how long have they been used? Right, forever. Like 85% of businesses are using some form of AI now. Right, law enforcement's always going to be behind the curve. It's government agencies. It's red tape. It's the whole 9 yards. You got to go through attorneys. You got to go through city council. You got to go through board of supervisor. All sorts of stuff, as well as your own admin and things like that.
The way I explain it best, or for at least for me, the way I explain it is, when did they stop using revolvers in the military? Give me a time, like about early 1900s, right?
Mhm.
When did we stop using them in police work?
Yeah,
1990. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wild.
So you think of it that way.
To add on to, like, especially the body camera stuff, the body cameras are now having the capability for live stream, and so it's a scary thought, but we can't necessarily just put our head in the sand. I think that's the, after this, like, using AI to queue up words is, where does it end? Where, if you're going to a use of force call in the foreseeable future, is the public going to try to demand, or administration, where now this is going to be live streamed? And then 10, 15 years from now, is it going to expect it to be like public, or delayed by 10 minutes or something? And I think those are the questions that, like, it almost it's going to feel like a movie. Like, I don't know which movie it is, but you have to request to get your gun unlocked from the center console. But I think these are things that, like, the unions have to, like, definitely, and I mean, even the community, you have to get the community involved and let them know why these things.
Could you imagine if there was a link to go and, whether a link or whatever it was, to go and view somebody's current body camera, like, live?
Oh,
Crazy.
man.
It's
That
crazy.
I'd never even thought of that until you just said it.
So a lot of agencies, and I know at least where we are in Southern California, you have calls for service data where you can go on, like, a police department's website, and you can see, I mean, it's delayed a little bit, but you can see active calls for service that are going on. I mean, they block out the specifics on the address block and, round it
Safety.
out to 100 blocks for safety, but you get a little bit of a gist of what that call is and what time it came in, and a little bit of the comments that are entered by
No shit.
dispatchers. Yeah. And so, I mean, a lot of that comes from state law, and now there's state law going in, or at least getting thrown around with the Senate here in California, but to try and add some governance to AI and report writing and things like that. So, I mean, leave it to California to, like, lead the charge on just, like, legislating everything, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
it's wild, right?
Wow.
California's usually the first, but other states aren't too far behind usually to follow. Like,
No, it's probably just a matter of infrastructure, like, actually reporting that. Does that make sense? Actually
Yeah.
having it, mandated, and then the ability to have that not live stream, but pretty much, like, updated on a regular basis. And that would be, I mean, we're still operating basically like, here's your weekly, the rundown for calls for service, and they'll post it on the website, sort of thing. But live like that, I couldn't imagine the amount of time, money, and effort that would have to go into updating that. But man,
there's another business. There's a business opportunity for you. You can jump on it. Jump on it early, man.
No, I'm good.
You got,
I can barely keep my head afloat with the one I have. So
you got live PD, but legit live.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to build the website for the podcast, and I have one for the business, and the one for the podcast I run in Shopify. I mean, it's easy, but it's a pain in the ass.
Speaking of Shopify, man, I saw those shirts you're putting out, man. Those are good looking shirts.
I appreciate it. I'll get you guys some.
You hire out a designer, or are you doing it yourself?
I do it myself.
There you go.
Yeah. I basically say, hey, wife, how does this look? And she's like, well, it's not my style. I'm like, perfect.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
No,
she wears some of this. I like the one with the nods with the skeleton head. The nods have
Oh,
always that's been my lifelong dream. In our when I was on the SWAT team, we couldn't afford them. So,
oh, really?
do you guys have nods on your team?
Yeah, yeah. East
Nice.
Bumfuck, New Hampshire had them, and Southern California didn't, huh? Wow, that's some
Yep,
sort
It,
yep.
of
Well, it was a regional team. So,
yeah. Same thing with us too. It came down to I think all of the funding for the SWAT team came through the Department of Homeland Security, like the state
mhm.
one, the state-run department.
yeah.
That's how it got the
So
funding,
did
and
you guys get used or not used ones, but ones for that were used in the military
yeah. So
or
the
new ones?
first generation, I think they were. Oh God, they were a knockoff of like the monocular PVS
Hmm.
14s, and I can't remember the actual term with them now. And now the ones that they have are another monocular, but it's higher quality, higher version of them. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's they're good. Then they have, I think
Hmm.
they may have a few sets of the binos, the two, and yeah, they're good.
Nice.
It's a pain in the ass, but you lose all sorts of depth perception,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you find out where the wall is because you're walking into it, all that sort of stuff.
So I wanna
Dude,
I wanna ask you a question because I think I've hit a soft spot in TAC medicine, and you may be the person to ask.
Yeah.
If an officer is shot, how do you balance scooping and running to your trauma hospital versus stabilizing and either letting the fire paramedics come or have a helicopter come?
Where are we talking? So, and I'm talking like physical
environment.
location
Mhm.
of, yeah. So for me, it's a little bit different than it is probably for other people
Ok-
because
Okay, let's
my,
say, I guess
go ahead.
to frame it, let's say you're driving with your hair on fire, you're 20 minutes, you can be at the hospital. But again, your hair's on fire, so you risk slipping a tourniquet, crashing, a little bit chaotic.
We'll say
So
you're in like a normal urban, like municipal city environment, population 50,000.
I'm running them to most likely, often than not, I'm probably running them to the nearest ambulance, and if depending on
Mm,
how close they are in the situational circumstance at that point in time, right? So I'm weighing all
mhm,
the circumstances of, I had a good relationship with the hospital that I was in my last city. So where I last worked, the hospital was right there. Granted, it was a community hospital, but the doctors were also or one of the doctors from the hospital was also on our SWAT team. So I
mm,
ran the medics on our SWAT team, but the doctor was kind
mm,
of what we would call medical control. And so he'd be the one that would oversee some of the training that was done and that relationship between the hospital and EMS and the police department.
mm,
So to answer your question more specifically, it all the factors come into play with that sort of stuff.
mm,
What the call for service was. I made sure that I know that the tourniquet's going to be on properly, on tight. It's going to be correct
mm,
tourniquet, not one of the knockoffs that you can buy on Amazon or some other websites. And it's going to be the appropriate tourniquet and all that sort of stuff. But if I'm going to run that person. Granted, taking in everything for the scene, I'm going to probably
mhm,
run them right to the nearest ambulance. And if I have, depending on the time or day, if I have to run them to the nearest hospital, then I'll
mhm,
do that. For me, putting myself in my circumstance now, I'm 45 minutes on a good day from the nearest hospital.
mhm,
It's probably it's a closer flight from Boston to where I am. It's probably a
mhm,
15-minute helicopter flight, if that. But getting the bird here, landing them, and then getting them take off, I'll leave that up to EMS. But
mhm,
um, right now, I mean, just putting myself in my current shoes, and they say that half the police departments in America have 10 full-time officers or less. So in that small rural setting is probably getting them to the nearest hospital
mhm.
and then or nearest EMS and ambulance provider and getting them from there. For you guys in a larger city, it might be worth the drive right to the hospital, depending on where you are in
Mm,
that situation at that time. Is that
Yeah,
some?
I guess like too, like for us, like our local hospital is probably a little bit better than maybe like a community hospital. Like it's a
Mhm.
private hospital, but definitely not like rated trauma hospital at all.
Yeah.
Nearest trauma hospital is probably, you're looking at like 18 minutes away.
Okay. Which is still close.
Yeah, depending on traffic too, right? Like
Yeah.
we are in like the LA metro area, but also too, like, I guess it depends if like your fire department, your EMS, ambulances can they even get into the scene? Is it like an active
Right.
scene going on, right? Like,
Right.
because I know like our county fire and our ambulances, like if there's still an active incident going on, like they're not going in.
No, they're
So
stationed at the fire department.
I think to your point, like you're going to be bringing your victim, your officer.
Yeah,
Maybe
and there's a lot that's taken into consideration. If I can see that the person's lost a lot of volume of blood, and I want to make sure that they have fluid and blood and all that sort of stuff, I want to bring them right to the right to EMS. And like for me, it's weird because of how close physically we are to Boston. We're about a 2.5 hour drive. So does that it's weird how it is.
Wow.
So it's
Jeez.
because we're only, and if I bet you we're probably, I could do the math, but it's probably as the crows fly 15 miles from the actual city, just based on the physical geography, but a 2.5 hour drive. So, yeah, it sucks. It's one of those things that, you game plan, right? And you want to make sure you have the best game plan available. You want to make sure you know your local resources that you have and what they carry, and make sure that what you're carrying is at the bare minimum a legit COT, COTC or TCCC recommended tourniquet, and at least some quick lot or combat gauze or whatever else, C-Locks Rapid, whatever it is, and to know how to use it mainly. Does that make sense? Because a lot of guys
carry a bunch of stuff that they don't know how to use.
Yeah. It's hard because it's trying to explain to somebody that, hey, when you use combat gauze, you have to get it to where it's bleeding inside the body. And they're like, why? Like, I'm stuffing this in there. Well, as soon as it comes into contact with blood, whether if it's on the ground or if it's on their skin or inside their body, it's going to form the clot right there. So, you know what I mean? So you have to get it stuffed inside there.
You're saying take the plastic off the tourniquet when you go 10A.
Yeah, dude. If I see somebody
have it staged already too, not like
I've taken fake tourniquets off of people at classes. Like, hey, like take your tourniquet out. I want to look through it real quick. Go through what you want to look through. If it's a North American Rescue tourniquet, this is the things you want to look for. If it's the TACMed Solutions, like, let's look at them, making sure that they're legit. And I've taken the fake ones, like, hey, I bought this one because it was, $7 on Amazon. Well, it's the reason why it's $7. And here's the legit articles of them failing in person when someone's bleeding out,
I had one, I think in 2017, when there was a whiff, of it starting to take off. The agency wouldn't give us anything. There was no advice. It was just Instagram or whatever I read about. I was like, oh, I should get one of these. These work.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any training. I was like, so I bought one off Amazon, some plastic one. I hung it on my rifle. I didn't even have it on me. I was like, well, if I take my rifle, then that's going to be the highest chance I'll need it. So I guess I'll just throw it in my pocket. But it's crazy how it's like revolutionized. Like, it took some time.
Yeah. Thankfully,
you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Go get training.
Yeah, it's one of the best trainings that you can have, because you don't know when you could use it, right?
Yeah.
Whether it could be on the job or your neighbor with a chainsaw could accidentally cut themselves, and here you are with some sort of knowledge and training and skill set to help save their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
we had a partner whose tourniquet saved his life, because he was getting some backsplash off the kitchen like this, and it's in the little end on the pry bar up here slipped, so it swung and popped right there. And he was holding it, and then he let go, and it hit the ceiling. The blood hit the ceiling.
Shit.
He was up in the mountains, and luckily in his car he had a tourniquet, but it's like definitively saved his life.
Yeah. Just getting back to it, it's hard. I don't know what you guys plan in your head, and it's one of those things that's wicked hard to answer, and I hate to be that way, but the politician way. But it's a
But it
hard question.
matters. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and to make sure that I when I first got hired to this agency, I went over and talked with the guys from EMS and learning what they have in their repertoire and their knowledge and their skill set,
Mhm.
and within their they may have all that, but then not have any of the gear, right? So making sure they have the correct equipment. Not I'm not really like spot checking them, but I'm asking them like, hey, what do you guys carry? Just make sure, and then you look inside their EMS bag and they're still in the plastic, and it's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like you really have to like reach out to your local EMS resources and talk to them and ask them, hey, what are your capabilities? What do you recommend? And go from there almost.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's what I try to tell people is just to game plan it. It's if you actually think about this sort of stuff happening, then when it does happen in real life, you're going to actually perform a lot better than if you didn't even think about it happening, right? You think about
Hmm.
when you're driving to a call or and nothing's going on. All right, what happens if there was a domestic here tonight? What are we going to do because of the
Hmm.
manpower that you have, or whatever sort of call it is? You think about what could happen and how you could handle it. We all do it on the job, and so it's the same sort of thing. Just knowing what resources you have in the area, how to use your gear, and making sure it's the right gear. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does definitely.
No, I saw that you guys had the medical section on the website, and I was happy to see that because it was definitely hard to find good videos of tourniquets being applied and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. And it's hard because it's definitely one of those incidents that you don't want to Monday morning quarterback. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But in the privacy of a roll call, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the point, right? Is like I know some agencies, right, get a little bit weird about showing their own agency videos,
Yeah.
right, for debriefs, and I think those are the most like impactful, right? But for obvious reasons, right, they sometimes don't allow it. But if you can pull up another agency's video from somewhere across the country, right, and get the same point across, and pull a couple good things out of it, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Exactly. Exactly. So Steve, you've been involved with the DA's office. How's that been going?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a big shift, just kind of working the cases in a different way. Traditionally, you go out on the street, you find something, whereas the DA's office, you're a function of helping, the attorneys essentially. You work for the DA's office, and it has a
Hmm.
section of it that's, the Bureau of Investigation, where we handle cases that are very kind of like unorthodox, So it's fun in its own way working with the DAs and especially seeing the back end. Traditionally you make your arrest and you give it, if you're on patrol, you give it to your detective. You never see it again. The detective deals with the DAs. And then once
Yeah.
the detective gives it off, it's gone. Where
Yeah.
now it's like we actually have to get this guy into jail, and you can see where it either everything goes smoothly or everything just falls apart, and the person is completely innocent. So it's super
Steve,
interesting to see the back end.
I know you said you were working with the PI, the Public Integrity Unit. We call it the
Mhm.
PIU. Um,
Mhm.
is there a different with what you're doing now? Is there different options within the PIU, different roles and responsibilities, or different kind of like bureaus or divisions? Is it just
No,
that
so
one
yeah,
sort of thing
that's
that you investigate?
yeah, so this unit is very specific to any misuse of public funds or voter fraud, embezzlement, conflicts of interest. So yeah, it's there's no other niches underneath that unit. We're in the fraud and corruption division.
Nice, nice. What made you want to go there? Is it just something different within law enforcement? Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, I did my 8 years of patrol and I was looking for something just a little bit different to kind of stack on my experience,
Hmm.
join an organization that was a little bit bigger. I don't know if you come from a smaller agency, but
Yeah,
it has its advantages, but it also has its challenges. So I was looking for and these kind of like cool unorthodox cases kind of appeal to me. And then working with the attorneys in the back end is also something I've been interested in law school, but the website's kind of been more exciting to me. I feel like I can affect more people positively with the website than
yeah.
than anything else right now.
Yeah. Are you, Sean, do you stick Steve with actually developing the website more, or is that split amongst both of you?
No, that was him. That was him at the beginning, man. Like, I like to say, like, and it's no different than law enforcement, right? You know what your strengths and weaknesses are, right?
Yeah.
And that's definitely like not my thing, right? Um, my my thing, at least I like to think, right, is pumping up the social media stuff, pumping up the marketing, trying to get the name out there, things like that. So that's the beauty of building a team, right?
Yeah.
Team of Steven and I, right? So is we can bounce stuff off each other, and we have our strengths. So
Yeah, Sean's
that's
been super awesome on the site, just having a second set of eyes, and he's got a good business mindset as well too. So
Yeah.
it's been huge game changer, especially when I realized like, all right, I can't do this by myself. I need a second set of eyes, second set of hands.
Yeah, no, I get it when you hit publish to a website and you're like, I spelled 4 different words wrong, and I'm like, so
yeah, yep.
it definitely helps. And then there's some coding on the back end with the, like, Shopify, and I'm like, oh god, I'm sitting here and they're trying to link Facebook and Instagram to them,
Oh
just kind
man.
of yelling at myself like, how the fuck does this work?
Yep.
But so well, guys, I don't want to keep you any more than the hour. 55 minutes is how long we've gone at it now. I know you don't want to release too much about what you have going on with the website in the near future, but is there anything that you do want to tell us about what you have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share it. So just so you guys know, we have partnered with Adopt a Cop BJJ, pretty well-known
Yep.
organization. So 10% of all membership donates directly towards them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So obviously that's designed to help cops that, whether for whatever reason they can't afford to train, maybe they're apprehensive about it. It actually funds them up to, correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, but a blue belt
Correct.
for Adopt a Cop. So that money gets donated to them. We also have another tier on our website. Obviously, $4.99 gets you full categorization of that website, plus allows you to document all your training on a viewing history report there, allows you to leave private comments. So if you see a video that you're like, all right, I want to remember this note on it, you can leave a note that'll stay on there. But we also have some expert breakdowns that we filmed with Marlon, actually breaking down some viral incidents. He talks about some IA stuff. I'll talk about, Steve and I will talk about some patrol tactics type stuff. We're not in the business of like calling balls and strikes, is what I tell
Right.
people, right? Like somebody asked me on 2 days ago, like, do you guys classify like this is a good use of force or this is a bad use of force? Like, listen, like we weren't there, right?
Hmm.
We weren't in this officer's shoes. We weren't responding to this call. We weren't feeling that stress, right? But we can point out some things like, hey, this may be why, they did this during this incident, or hey, this is an alternative to look at. But as for the future, right? I know Steven's working on some things with some monthly training. That's again to document training to get kind of standard videos and things like that. So if you are at an agency and you're tasked with providing it, hey, you have set topics to cover each month,
Hmm.
and it kind of organizes it for that. But like we kind of hinted at with the AI stuff, obviously it's a new thing. It's entering law enforcement. It's been around on the private business side, but we're excited. We beta tested a tool a couple days ago in front of a group of police officers that are obviously tech savvy and interested. But it's just helping you actually analyze that body worn camera video a little bit more. So you're basically asking it questions like a chatbot, like you normally would, like ChatGPT. You're asking it specific questions about that video, and it's able to
Yeah,
actually produce a response.
you'll be pretty shocked when you start playing it. You could just ask it questions about the video, and yeah, you'll be pretty shocked about the answers it gives. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not foolproof by any means, but it's pretty sweet.
Is that are you
But
guys going to keep it at
yeah, I mean,
4.99 for everybody, or?
Yeah, so a lot of
Sorry to
that, right?
ask
Like,
the tough
no, no,
question.
no,
I
no,
know.
no, no, absolutely, right? Like our goal, right, isn't to make anything prohibitive by any means,
Yeah,
right? And so
I
a
get
lot
it.
of this, like, and I'm sure you've gone through this, is like this is the first time you've done this, right? Like nobody sat down with you to like figure it out, right? How to make a website. Like, hey, listen, like we have full-time jobs just like everyone else, but we're making it happen. We're trying to make it work. And so our goal is obviously to bring as much value as possible, for as little as we possibly can,
Yeah.
for people. So yeah, like
I mean,
some of the,
I was gonna say there's a lot of other features, on the website we didn't get to talk about. So, try it for 30 days. I mean, it's free for 30 days, and then definitely give us feedback because we love feedback. We want to make every officer has a different perspective on how we can make it better. So definitely let us know.
Yeah, no, it's I've already recommended it to people in this area, and at least one signed up. Like I said, I've been using it since March, and it's made my life as an instructor and a trainer a lot easier. You know what I mean? Just to find that video, not have to go download it and find it, and then lose it somewhere in some thumb drive that I have probably at the bottom of a backpack right now. And so it's been a lot easier for me, and it made my life just 10 times better.
and we appreciate that, right? Like our overall mission is, hey, we want to provide tools to cops that are going to help them do a better job in whatever aspect they're using it for, but to train themselves, right? Like just like you're doing, we're trying to better the profession, right?
Yeah.
In whatever way we possibly can. And this is what we found. We have a few things in the horizon that hopefully we'll be releasing here soon. We're super excited about, but it's just that mentality of like, how far can we push it? How much value can we extract and give to the profession?
Yeah. Well, that's
So
awesome. I'm glad to hear it, guys. You have anything else you want to bring up or anything like that?
No, I don't
no,
think
we
so. This was awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us on the podcast. We're checking out your training. They look pretty awesome as well. But yeah, thanks again for having us.
Dude, anytime. I appreciate
we
you guys coming out.
we appreciate it, John. For those that are listening, man, check out those shirts, man. He's doing a good job out there. Check out his other podcast episodes.
Oh yeah, it's the shirts, man. They're a pain. I've screwed up a few of them, and I think I'm wearing one of the ones I screwed up right now. But
Hey, it's okay. Nobody needs to know.
exactly right. Well, I
And the
appreciate
mess
it,
up
guys.
just become like free shirts to throw on when you're like, just doing yard work or
Yeah,
something or whatever.
exactly.
Hey, it's all
Exactly.
good.
Somebody wants a free shirt. Here you go. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it, and take care.
Appreciate it, John.